Hey everyone, and welcome to the club, and welcome to another art challenge. Today I'll be creating an original character using the king cobra as my inspiration. So I'm going to start with the brow line. So I'm going to create a big brow above the eyes. Starting from the left, I'm going to come in towards the center with a curve, and then I'm going to curve up towards the middle of the brow. Let's go to the right side and do the same thing. So starting from the middle, I'm going to curve back towards the right, and then create that curve for the upper brow area. From here, I'm going to tuck in the eyeballs underneath. So starting on the left side, I'm going to leave a little overhang here. I'm going to draw a half circle, curving all the way around to that point where the curve meets the brow. Do the same thing on the right side, curving that all the way around. I'm probably going to have to extend this side out to match the left side there. Let's go ahead and draw in some highlights. So on the top left, I'm going to draw a circle for the highlights, or imagining the light coming down in this direction. In the center here, I'm going to draw in the pupil, a little tiny pupil that surrounds the inside of the eyeballs. So starting up here, circle around, and we'll color that in black. Just do the same thing on the right side. So starting on the top, we're going to draw a highlight circle, just like we did on the left, and then draw in the pupil underneath, and then color that in black. From here, let's go ahead and draw in the mouth. So he's got a big mouth. So starting on the left, I'm going to draw a curve, going from left to right, across like that. And from here, I'm going to turn up the sides. So from this side on the left, I'm going to curve up just underneath the left eye. And then on the right, I'll do the same thing. From here, let's work our way down the sides of the mouth. So stepping in on the left side here, I'm going to curve to the bottom of the mouth. Do that on both sides. I'm going to give him some fangs. So from this point here, where the turn goes inwards, I'm going to draw a curve, and then curve that back up. Do the same thing on the right side. So curving down, and then back up. From this point, I just want to draw in that large tongue that comes down from the center of the mouth. So these 2 points are going to curve in to meet each other, but in the center here, I'm going to have to draw in the tongue. So starting on the left, I'm going to go across. Now from here, I want to lay the tongue on top. So I'm going to do an overlap, and just draw a curve like this. We're going to go back over to the left side and go around that little point, and then I'm going to come back up here and draw a curve that comes down right beside the one on the left. From these 2 points, I want to merge towards a center point. Just like that, almost like an upside down V. Now we can go ahead and draw on the bottom of the mouth. So we're just going to curve that back up on the side there. Okay, from here, now I'm going to draw in the bottom of the face. So I'm going to take these points and curve down underneath this mouth. So starting from this point, I'm just going to draw almost like a half circle, going underneath the mouth for the chin, and going back up on the right side. I want to meet up with that side on the right. Just like that. From here, I kind of want to give him a little bit of a mask, sort of to kind of give him a disguise. So from the top of the mouth here, I'm going to curve above the mouth like this, so following that same curve. Then from that point, I'm going to meet up with that corner of that head with a curve that goes up. We'll do the same thing on the left side. And then we're going to eventually color all this in a different color here. So let's go into the body. So this hood, I'm going to create a big hood, which is the signature characteristic of the king cobra. It's going to go from the brow around through the back, but it gets tucked in behind the body. So let's go ahead and draw on the body first. So down here, I'm going to draw on the waist. On the left side, underneath the chin, I'll draw a curve for the left side of the body. I'll draw a curve for the right side of the body. I'm going to curve these into the center, but I want to give them a cool little superhero belt or supervillain belt. So starting at the top, I'm going to draw a circle. And we're going to draw the letter C inside here for cobra. Angle those in, circle back around. Now from these 2 points, I'm going to tuck these in underneath that belt. So curving in underneath. Now along the body, I probably want to draw some curves for the underbelly of the cobra. So I'm going to start with the top of the belt first. So tucking that in, so this is the actual belt. And now in here, I want to draw maybe 2 curves going along the belly. So underneath the tongue, out on the right side, and then halfway in between, I'll draw one as well. From here, let's get into the arms. So I'm going to have him with his arms out like this, with claws. So this arm is going to start from the shoulder, coming down towards the hand. So down here, I'm going to draw the inside part of the arm first. Let's do an overlap and draw the first claw. Now this is the thumb here. So we're going to circle our way back towards the index finger. So from here, I'm going to curve around. And from here, I'm going to pull this back up. Now we're going to do a series of overlaps. I'm going to go up like this, and one more time, curving up to the upper part of the arm. Now from here, I'm going to tuck this in underneath the chin. So the arm gets a little bit wider at the shoulders and then kind of tapers off towards the wrist. Let's do the same thing on the right side. So starting at the same height, curve down towards the thumb. We'll do that overlap to the tip of the thumb, and we're just going to circle all the way around to the index finger like we did here on the left. We'll curve that back up. We'll do another overlap for the second finger, overlap for the third finger in towards the wrist right there. So we want to make sure that the thickness of the wrist is consistent from left to right. From here, I'm going to tuck this in underneath the chin, just like that. We'll go into some details after we've blocked in the whole body. So from here, we're going to work our way down towards the lower torso. So just in the center here, below the belt, I'm going to draw a little curve like this. Let's draw the inside part of the right leg. So stepping in, curve down to the heel, and on the left side, I'm going to step in, curving down to the heel on the left. We'll draw the bottoms of the feet. So from the heel to the toe, it's going to draw a curve on both sides. Now we're going to draw on the tops of the boot. From the toe, I want to draw a half circle aiming towards that heel, but I'm not going to close it off. I'm just going to stop right about there. We're going to go up to the hip and just draw a curve to the top of that foot. Let's do the same thing on the right side. So aiming towards that heel, start up here, curve around to the toe, going back up to the hip, we'll curve down to the top of the right foot. Now from this point, because I have the body parts all laid out, now I can start drawing in the hood. So this is actually going to go in the back, and I'm going to create a tail that kind of whips up this way. So from this brow line, I'm going to continue this down behind the arms and the body. So from this point, let's curve around. Let's do the same thing on the right side. So curving around in behind the arms. Now it's going to taper in towards the hips. So I'm going to imagine this curve going behind the arm and then turning in the opposite direction towards the hip. Do that on both sides. From here, I'm going to step up and draw a little vertical line in the middle of the brow. Now I'm going to create a thick sort of ridge around the hood. So from here, on this center point, I'm going to curve up above the left eye. So curving around and into that point. From here, I'm going to take this point and start to taper down in behind the body here. So it gets a little bit narrower. So it gets narrow as it comes down behind the arm, and it gets really thin as it gets behind the body here. Let's do the same thing on the right side. So from this point, I want to curve out to right about there, making sure that they're lined up. Then from here, I'm going to again taper in. So it gets narrower as it gets behind the arm. And then right here, tucked in behind the body. Let's go up and draw a couple more layers. So there's these scales that go up the head. So I'm going to continue this sort of pattern up here. So up here in the middle, draw another vertical line. This, I'm going to curve out and then back in towards the side of the hood right here. So I'm going to draw a little overlap. So from here, draw a curve going up and then down. Do the same thing on the right side. So going up, then curving down. We're going to do one final layer. In the middle here, I'll draw a vertical line, and then I'm just going to curve this in behind the front layer on the left and on the right. Now from this point, I want to draw in the tail. So this hood is going to come in behind. It's going to merge in towards the tail that I'm going to whip up this way. So in between the legs, you'll probably see the edge of the tail coming out. And then from here, I'm just going to curl this up like that. From this point, I want to taper out so it gets a little bit thicker as it comes in back towards the body. So just coming up like this. Let's go ahead and add some details. So along the ridge of the brow area, I'm going to draw some curved lines. From the top on the left, I'll curve in. I'm just going to continue this pattern all the way across. And then as I come down the side here, I'm going to turn it. So it's now almost more horizontal. Curving across. I'm going to work my way down behind here as well. Let's do the same thing but flipped over on the right side. Starting from the top, coming down. And they don't have to align perfectly. I'm just going to try to match them up as best I can. Across this way and then down behind the body there. And then up here we're going to do the same thing. So we're just going to create a pattern. And they don't have to line up with these points too. So they can be a little bit wider and spaced out more. So go across this way. And then one final one up here. I'm going to start in the middle and just curve in like so. In the inside of the hood, I'm going to create another curve, but I'm going to go in the opposite direction. going the other way. So it looks like the inside is actually pushed in. Do the same thing on this side. Draw one down here. Now I probably want to carry on the pattern down towards the tail. So down here in the tail, I'm just going to draw a couple curves like this. And then here we're going to split it from the outside of the tail to the inside part, right in the middle here. I'm just going to taper out and just let it vanish off to the side there. From here, I'm just going to draw a couple curves across like that. Let's add some details to the arms. So I'm going to draw some scales on the arms. So along this line, I'm just going to draw a series of little curves like this and just kind of tuck that in on the inside part of the arm. I want to do that same pattern, but I want to drop that little point at the bottom in the center of these curves. Starting from the outside, I'll go right into the top point of that curve, and I'll just work my way across like this, and I'll probably do one more. Just like that. Maybe one more here. We'll add one there. Let's do the same thing on this side. So we're going to start on the inside this time with the half curve, like that, and then just work our way up the arm. Coming down, across. We'll draw one up here, and maybe one more on the inside. You can balance it out by drawing one more on that side. Okay, so we got the arms. Let's do the body on the bottom here. So we're going to separate the legs from the feet. So from up here, we're going to draw almost like boots. We'll draw a curve on the left, curve on the right, and we're going to draw that same scale pattern, but I'm going to draw it on the boot side, but we're going to flip it over. From the left side here, I'm just going to draw a series of U shapes all the way across like that. Down here, draw a couple more, and then maybe one at the end. We'll do the same thing on the right side. Drawing some loops. We'll draw a couple on the inside here, and one on the heel. And then up here, we probably want to carry this stripe pattern into the leg. So in order to do that, I'm going to start in the corner here, right where the lower torso meets the leg. Curve up, out to the hips on both sides. Right here, I'm going to split this in half with a curve. And then we're going to draw another curve going into the center, in between the lower torso. Then one to split the thigh in half. So there it is. There's our original character. We're going to call him the King Cobra. I want to thank you for watching our art challenge today. If you have any more ideas, you can add it in our comment section. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.